We're getting pretty good at delivering beatdowns. Duke with another one. They knock off Miami. They nearly score 100 points once again. What a basketball team we get to cheer for. Let's go, Duke.
You are Locked On Blue Devils, your daily podcast on the Duke Blue Devils. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Locked On Blue Devils podcast. My name is JJ Jackson. It's so great to have you here with us today on Wednesday, February 26th, 2025. Locked On Blue Devils is your one-stop shop where we discuss everything going on inside the life of Duke athletics. And on today's show, we got to tell you all about the big-time Duke basketball win last night over the Miami Hurricanes. Duke won by 37, 97-60. The final score in this one. Yet another basketball game where the Blue Devils led wire to wire. They did not trail for a single second. It was so incredible to see, so much intrigue and storylines to talk about after this game. The Jay Lucas dynamic with the Miami Hurricanes. Tyrese Proctor leaves the game banged up and injured. Certainly hope that he's going to be okay moving forward for this Duke basketball team. Cooper Flagg is incredible. We know that. And continue to buy that stock in Isaiah Evans because, man, oh, man, the way that guy's playing as of late, it's phenomenal. The man is Jordan Mann. He's the best. He's back on the program today with us to talk about this Duke victory over Miami, and excited to hear his thoughts on everything that's been going on with Duke basketball as of late. If you have not done so already, please be sure to follow and subscribe to Locked On Blue Devils for free wherever it is that you get your podcast. Leave us a 5-star rating and written review. Go ahead and like this video. Share it with your friends if you're watching it on YouTube. And most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Really appreciate all the support that we get from you guys over there on YouTube. So without further ado, we bring him on into the program. The aforementioned Jordan Mann is here with us today on the show. J-Man, what's going on, man? What a win we got to watch for Duke, pal.
Yeah, long time no see, JJ. It's good to be back on the show. And, yeah, what a nice, relaxing win. And I'm talking about Duke Miami, not Duke versus Illinois.
Yes. Two of them. We had a 43-point win on Saturday. Now we've got a 37-point victory last night over the Miami Hurricanes. What a showing it was for the Blue Devils. And right out of the gates, man, I mean, that's been the best part. And so much of this, you see Con Knippel knock down the first 3-point shot of the game. Then Cooper Flagg hits one. It's 6-0 early. And I'm sitting there wondering, is this it? I mean, are we done here? Is this going to be another one of those games? Turns out we were done there after pretty much the first possession.
Yeah, look, I mean, this Duke team, first off, let me talk about Miami just for a second. Miami deserves to be talked about for a second because they suck. They are the worst Power 5 team I think I've ever seen, and that's saying something. Their effort, they quit long before Jim Larrañaga resigned. I can see why he resigned. Poor guy had to deal with this team quitting on him, and they showed no effort and no heart against Duke tonight at home, and Duke just took advantage of it. It looked like my dad playing against me in a small goal on the back of a door right here and beating me 21-1 as I'm a 5-year-old just trying to get a shot up. That's what it looked like with Duke and Miami. Miami's so bad, Duke is so good, and that is as simple as tonight I can put tonight is Duke's really good, Miami's really bad, and it showed.
Credit to Miami. They made 5 3-pointers. That's 3 more than Illinois could say for the game that we just saw this past weekend when Duke was able to beat the Illini by 43 points. But to your point, this one just wasn't competitive whatsoever. Cooper Flagg right out of the gates, kind of setting the tone early. We'll get to Isaiah Evans in a moment. But, I mean, yeah, it was a Knippel 3-pointer on the first possession. Flagg gets a 3. Then immediately he's downhill driving a couple of times there. And said, okay, fine, I'm probably not going to get to play as much as I typically do. Let me go ahead and get mine. I love when Cooper Flagg hunts for his shots like that, man. It's crazy to say it, that it's the best player in the sport. We really like it when he goes after his own shot attempts. But sometimes it feels like he's not really looking to do it. And so when he does, certainly love when he does that.
Yeah, I mean, he is the prototypical point forward. I mean, he's looking to facilitate and get others involved. And then he's like, oh, wait, I am the projected number 1 pick in the draft. Let me just go cook anybody that's on this floor. And he did that tonight. I mean, he shot, 6 of 9, I think?
Yep.
Yeah, 6 of 9, 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. I mean, the dude just does it all. This is just a night in, night out basis for him. His baseline is 15, 5, and 5 a game. And it's crazy. Like, the guy he impacts winning. Everybody on this team impacts winning, but him being as good as he is as a scorer and being this unselfish, I mean, the whole team in a nutshell are pretty unselfish. And it starts with him. It starts at the top with Cooper Flagg, 16 points in 27 minutes. And I swear, JJ, I don't think he broke a sweat.
And now we find ourselves in a position where, there are just 3 games left in the regular season. Then we've got the tournament, a conference tournament before we get into March Madness. And ultimately, if we can only have one thing for the rest of the season, it would be a national championship, right? If you can add a few more things, we'll take a regular season title. Let's go win the ACC tournament. I'd love for Cooper Flagg to be the Player of the Year award. But the one thing clearly is that national title. I just want to get the obvious out of the way there. But looking specifically at this National Player of the Year award race that's going on right now between Cooper Flagg and Johni Broome, I'm starting to get a little worried, man, about these big blowouts, because Flagg's stats, when you just simply look at the counting department of it all, are not going to be as impressive, man.
Yeah, look, I mean, that is a legit concern for the National Player of the Year race. If you're concerned about it, I think he was like minus 400 a week ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. And now I think he's minus 200. It's kind of cut in half. And Auburn's going to keep playing tougher teams. And so Johni Broome's going to play more minutes. And then, his stats are going to show he's a talented player. But at the end of the day, they have similar efficient field goal percentages. Coming into this game, Cooper Flagg's efficient field goal percentage was 54%. Johni Broome's is 54%, but Cooper Flagg is shooting – he's a 3-level scorer. He's shooting threes, mid-range, on the rim. And Johni Broome has attempted 35 more layup attempts or around the rim attempts than Cooper Flagg, and they shoot the same efficient field goal percentage. So that just goes to show, one, Cooper Flagg's scoring more efficiently, and 2, he's scoring more efficiently on tougher shots.
Sure.
Hey, let me get this rebound and let me go coast to coast like I did against Illinois and hit you with a hezzy in the slot and then put 2 rims and punch the rim. Like, I know you're an Auburn grad, so I won't go too hard. But if Johni Broome did that, then I'm buying lottery tickets of him grabbing a rebound and then ISO on a guy one-on-one and getting to the cup and flushing it.
Yeah.
So it's just the eye test. Sometimes it's as simple as the eye test, JJ. It's just, this dude is the National Player of the Year. Johni Broome's a really good player, but he is not on Cooper Flagg's level. And to an extent, I think this is Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese 2.0. I really do. I think Johni Broome, his game screams more Angel Reese, and then you have Cooper Flagg, who's more flashy. And so you have one side wanting the flashy guy, and the other side wanting the production of, hey, this guy's getting a double-double night in and night out. It's like, well, yeah, he's getting his own rebounds and laying it back in. So I see both sides, but I'm obviously a homer. I'm on Locked On Blue Devils. Give me Cooper Flagg.
Yeah, my personal life's getting more and more difficult as the days go by, when it's just been a full season of Duke versus Auburn and so many things. I'm going to have to send my degree back into Auburn University for how pro-Duke I am as a person, and that's always going to remain that thing. I want to go back to just, the Cam Newton and Bo Jackson world of Auburn, and let's have Charles Barkley be this big figurehead. Happy for them, but do not want it to take away from any of the shine that Cooper Flagg had. I had said going into this past weekend, looking at the numbers in the race specifically, when you look at scoring numbers, when you look at kind of the big-time game performances, Flagg's already got 5 games to his name this year, scoring 25 or more. Johni Broome only had 2. He listened to me because he put up 31 over the weekend, so that number goes up a little bit. But I made the point, I really do feel like down the stretch here, we will benefit. Now you don't want to risk injury or anything like that, and that's certainly something that's more relevant after Proctor from last night. I do think we benefit, though, if Cooper Flagg can go out there and have another 30-piece in one of these games and truly remind the world outside of these highlight plays, like, yeah, I'm him. I had 42. I can do this.
Yeah, I mean, that 42-point game, I don't think it's getting talked about enough in this race. I don't like the narrative going towards the age difference, because that's not a good leg to stand on for Duke fans or Cooper Flagg fans. Like, well, Johni Broome is 23 or however old he is, and Cooper Flagg just turned 18.
Right.
That's great, but the last, I think, 4 National Player of the Years have been old guys. So it's like that is an older guy award. The last one and done to win National Player of the Year, I'm pretty sure, is Zion Williamson. So it's like if there, it can be a specimen like Zion, which is Cooper Flagg, or it can be an old head like Johni Broome. Like that is just that's what the National Player of the Year is for. It's not, well, give it to this guy because he's younger. Because the last few years, the older guys have won. So you can say that for Johni Broome's case. I just think the way Cooper Flagg plays the game of basketball, his usage rate is insane. Auburn can win with Johni Broome having a quiet night if he's quiet, because they have so many haymakers night in, night out. And I think Duke, when it comes down to not ACC play, but when it comes down to Duke playing quad one teams, you have to have Cooper Flagg have a 25-plus point game. He's got to have 8+ rebounds and 5+ assists because, yes, the team around him is really good, but he needs to play at the top-notch level that he can be.
We saw it against Clemson. Right? I mean, early on in that game when Duke had just a marginal lead, Flagg wasn't really in it. Clemson's able to hang around. If he was putting up the numbers that he typically does, maybe there's a little bit of separation there. And then down the stretch, Cooper really got it going. Credit to Clemson for winning that game and that sort of thing. That's just the one thing in all of this that we got caught up in. A lot of people talking about the strength of the ACC versus the strength of the SEC and how that factors into an award like this. We're pro Duke here for obvious reasons. I don't love holding that against Cooper because there's nothing he can do about it. He can't change the fact that Duke plays in the ACC. Johni Broome can't change the fact that Auburn plays in the SEC. They play who's in front of them and take care of business. Now, if you want to use that same argument for of these two teams, who wants to be the number one overall seed when we put the field together, despite having a head-to-head result of these teams, I'm okay with that. When you look at the team and the totality of it all, trying to compare those resumes, fine. But when you're trying to penalize a player for the opponents that he's going up against, that's where it gets a little unfair for me.
I agree with that because also yes, Duke is better than the ACC, but that is because Cooper Flagg is on Duke's team. Like that is why they're so much better than these ACC teams. Does ACC as a whole, do they suck? Probably. But you know why there's such a massive gap between Duke and the rest of the ACC? Because Cooper freaking Flagg is on Duke's team. That's why there's separation. That's why he's the National Player of the Year. But I'm pulling up the box score, JJ, of the head-to-head because that's something that I have I haven't said publicly, but look, Johni Broome had 20 and 12 that game, and Cooper Flagg had 22 and 11. They both shot inefficient. They're both 7 of 17. But again, if you go back and watch the game and you watch how these two guys got their buckets, the reason Johni Broome started getting buckets was because Bruce Pearl, who's a hell of a coach, saw him struggling to create his own shot. Because Duke's ball screen coverage was blitzing the ball screen. So what did Johni Broome do? He just started slipping the roll. And he had 2 back-to-back dunks early in the second half. And I think he had 3 or 4 in the second half, uncontested because of good coaching of him slipping to a wide-open lane. Cooper Flagg, on the other hand, catch at the top of the key, rip through, finish at the rim with his offhand and one. He had that pivot spin early in the first half, mid-range jumper. He hit a 3. That's what I'm talking about. They both had 22, but 2 different ways. One dude really had to work for it, and the other had a really good coaching adjustment because they saw their best player struggling. So they started slipping the ball screens and ghosting them, and it led to wide open looks around the rim for Johni Broome. And that is where, when it comes to basketball, X's and O's, that's where Cooper Flagg, you're different because you got your 22 this way. Johni Broome, you had a really good game, but coaching really bailed you out as well.
Cooper Flagg is different, and as is Isaiah Evans with the way that he's been playing as of late, as we've kind of detoured here away from that Duke and Miami discussion. So we'll try to get back on track. That's what J-Man and I get to do when we start talking ball. You never know where we're going to go, which makes it incredible. So let's step aside, one quick break, and then we're back here in just a moment. Oh, yeah. Locked On Blue Devils here today is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started. Oh, my gosh. How about last night? Getting to see Luka Doncic go back and play against the Dallas Mavericks. I was following along all game long. thanks to our friends over at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel in the NBA, you can place live bets throughout the game. So even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. I love using FanDuel's live betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game super, super exciting. Whether I'm backing my team for a late-game rally or picking a player to hit a clutch three, I never felt like I missed my chance, all because of FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can bet $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA and a proud sponsor of Locked On Blue Devils. Okay, let's keep this thing rolling. JJ Jackson alongside Jordan Mann at J-Man's Takes on X. Go check him out on YouTube for all its incredible film breakdowns. You got a lot of clips to be looking at with this game over Miami, and in particular, what another magnificent first half from Isaiah Evans. The first half against Auburn, where he knocks down 6 threes. He hits 5 of them against the Canes last night. He is in a rhythm right now, man.
Isaiah, dude, is playing some high-level ball for Duke. And look, the injuries are a concern for Duke, right? With Tyrese Proctor, I saw that last night he left the arena with crutches, and then Malik Brown, obviously. But when guys go down, somebody has to step up, and that's been Isaiah Evans, and he has not missed a beat for Duke. 16 points last night, 5 of 10, all in the first half. He was 5 of 6 from 3. And look, the guy just is a flamethrower. I say it on my film breakdowns. The guy walks into any arena with a flamethrower, and it shows. And when he puts it up, whether he's wide open or he could be quadruple teamed, it could be a Kobe Bryant shot, a vintage Kobe game-winning look where 3 guys hovered around him. If he gets it off those fingertips, it's nothing but the net.
Amen. A big-time performance for Isaiah with what he's been able to do as of late, and a big reason why Duke's been playing such good basketball. Again, you could see here in the box score, 16 points. All of them in the first half, 5 of 10 from the floor, 5 of 8 from three-point range, got fouled, had a 4-point play himself in the festivities. Flagg had 15 or 16 as well. But then Con Knipple, how about the game Con had? 4 of 5 from 3, 6 of 8 from the floor, made all 4 of his free throws, 5 rebounds, a game-high 20 points for Con Knipple. This game was over at halftime. Everybody was curious what the injury was for Tyrese Proctor. That's what we're thinking about. You just had this great half of basketball from Isaiah Evans, and then all of a sudden, Con just starts to take over a little bit in the second half. And if he gets his shot back going, this is a guy that was 38% from 3 coming into the game. So getting it back going, I say that as if he's been awful, but if he takes it up just another notch like he's been known to do, I don't know how you stop this team. As a team, Duke went 15 of 25, 60% from three-point range.
Yeah, I mean, Knipple shooting, I think, 40% from 3, a little more than 40% from 3 in conference play. The dude's just I remember I was on this show, JJ going to bat for him, saying, hey, like, he's a shooter. He's going to get out of this slump in early December. And here we are talking about a 38%.
Or even after we had the Kansas and Kentucky games when, he's 0 for 8, 1 for 8 in those games. You kept saying, just wait.
Just wait. Yeah, and you see it. Like, Water always finds this level. His free throw percentages never lie. When you see a guy shooting 90% from the free throw line all year and he's struggling to shoot from 3, it's going to happen. He's going to find it, and he has, right? I mean, the quietest 20 points I think that we've seen this season, 6 of 8, because the talk of the game was Isaiah Evans, his 16 in the first half, and like we talked about with Cooper Flagg, his dominant performance of 16, 5, and 6. And look at the box score. Caleb Foster, back-to-back games now of double digits, 10 points on 4 of 6 and 3 assists. And again, we don't know the details with Proctor, don't know if he's out for however long. This is where Caleb Foster, this is where he's got to step up. His number is going to be called for extended minutes. The minutes that he thought he was going to have at the beginning of the year, now he's going to have at the end of the year if Tyrese Proctor is going to miss some time.
Without a doubt. I mean, that's now the perfect opportunity for Caleb Foster to get back right. So we don't want to speculate on these Proctor injury that took place, right? He leaves with under a minute to go in the first half. Hyperextended knee is what some people are starting to speculate, but imaging is going to be done. As you said, he left the arena on crutches. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if he were to miss a few games here down the stretch, maybe to make sure he's ready to go for that March run. And now it's a good opportunity for Caleb Foster to take advantage of this opportunity. I would figure maybe that it's Isaiah Evans who slides into that starting spot, and then it's more of a larger role for Caleb Foster off the bench. But here's Caleb Foster's last 37 minutes of basketball. Last 37 minutes of ball, 33 points, 13 of 21 from the floor. That's 62%. 6 of 10 from three-point range, 6 assists, 2 turnovers, plus 17 when he's on the floor in those 37 minutes of action as of late. So there's something here. Yes, it's been in blowouts mainly. Yes, it's been against some really, really bad teams. But he was good last season. Like, this is not a guy that there's a reason he's playing for Duke. Like, we're having to remind people why he plays for us.
Yeah, I mean, he scored in the first half in the Miami game, and that's something to be said because
came in much earlier than he thought he would have been. This is before the injury to Proctor. Like, he came off the bench pretty early.
Yeah, it was like the 15-minute mark. I was like, oh, my God, I had to double take and see what the time score was.
That's number one coming in. Yeah.
But shout out to Duke Update on Twitter. He replied to my tweet and said that this was Caleb Foster's first bucket in the first half since January 4th at SMU. That was 52 days ago, 13 games ago.
Jeez.
So that is crazy that it's been that long since we've seen him make an impact in a first half for Duke. But again, not going to speculate with Proctor, but if he's out, then Caleb Foster, you got to step up and be the guy that Duke thought you were going to be coming into this season.
Okay, so now Duke has, Florida State coming up at home, a home game against Wake Forest on Monday, and then next Saturday, big showdown with the Tar Heels in their regular season finale. We'll talk about that and start to talk about these final few days of the Duke basketball season in the regular season after we take our final break here on today's episode. Everydayers, thank you so much for making Locked On Blue Devils your first listen and first watch each and every day. Please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Show it off with your friends, all the Duke people out there in the world. I want you to be subscribed to our show each and every day, talking all things Duke, talking about a great basketball team right now, and plenty of more great things coming here on the channel. Make sure after this show ends that you go and check out Locked On College Basketball. Our hosts, Isaac Shade and Andy Patton, do an unbelievable job taking you across the sport, talking about the big storylines. There's a whole lot of focus right now with Duke as they continue to march towards a 1 seed as we get to the NCAA tournament. So go check out Locked On College Basketball wherever it is that you get your podcasts. Winding down the show, Jordan Mann's here with us on the program today, talking about this Duke team who now we've got 3 games left in the regular season as Duke continues to move forward. They are 16-1 in ACC play. 17 wins is the record that Carolina had a season ago. We've obviously been talking about this a good bit throughout the course of the season. But, man, the rest of the ACC is so bad that the angle I haven't really discussed here is that Clemson and Louisville are still in a good spot to also surpass the best 20-game record mark. And then when you're looking at this 1 seed, it's so pivotal still that Clemson beat Duke head-to-head in that matchup, because if they were to finish with 2 wins, they both get to recognize themselves as ACC champions. I always love it when you've got the head-to-head over a team that you beat, but it would be Clemson that gets the 1 seed going into the ACC tournament.
That is something I've not thought about, JJ.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, let's get Duke this record. I'm all for it. Make it happen. But then I'm like, wait a minute. These other teams could also get it too. So really want to make sure we need to make sure we take advantage of this moment and opportunity.
Yeah, that's just Duke's got to handle business, win out. And yeah, that's crazy. Clemson's my dark horse team though in March Madness. I said that on a show, and spoiler alert, when I have my March Madness preview on my YouTube channel at jman_. They're going to be one of my dark horse teams because everybody loves to talk about the ACC sucking. I think the top 3 teams are pretty good to where Louisville and Clemson will make the second weekend of March Madness, and you could possibly have 3 ACC teams in the Sweet 16 and maybe 3 again in the Elite Eight. And all of a sudden, who's laughing now, world?
Yeah, we're back on top all of a sudden if that happens. But no, just something interesting to watch. You look at these last few games for all of these teams, and you're like, well, it's the ACC, so everybody's got bad games left, right? If we're looking for a Clemson loss coming up, they play Notre Dame tonight at home. I don't see that happening. You know, like you keep looking at the schedule for who these teams have coming up. Louisville the same way, although if Duke were to drop a second game here, at least they do have the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Cardinals, having beat them a little bit earlier this season. North Carolina's right there on the bubble, and man, it just until the game's played out, you always just have, or at least I do, have this bad feeling in my stomach when that game comes around, man, because those guys always find a way to beat us when we don't want it to happen.
Yeah, you can't pencil that in as a win. I don't care that Duke dominated them last time, because this is exactly what happened a few years ago. We killed them on their down year by 20+, and that was in the Dean Dome. And then they spoiled Coach K's farewell tour. They spoiled the senior night. So, like that, and that's why you cannot overlook a rivalry. And so, yes, they're playing better ball of late as well. So that's a game that you can't look past to look forward to the ACC tournament. You got to handle business one game at a time. And all of a sudden, the injury bug has crept up on Duke to where other guys are going to have to step up.
What do you think of this Jay Lucas dynamic, man, as we're trying to see kind of what's next for him? If he heads off to take this Miami job, we'll see as the reporting continues to come out. But that'd obviously be a big loss on the bench for Duke.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jay Lucas is going to do big things in Miami. I think it's safe to say he's probably gone to Miami. Look, he has been Duke's defensive coordinator the last 3 years. Duke's defense ranked 16th, 16th, and 4th on KenPom with him as the defensive coordinator. The 2 years prior, 49th and 79th. So he made instant impact as the coordinator. And who is the worst team in the country at defense? Miami. Miami's 336th in KenPom before the Duke game. And so you hire a defense coordinator, a young guy that can recruit.
Sorry to the Miami fans out there for hanging 97 on them. I'm sure that's not going to help your defensive metrics.
Yeah, at all. It might actually, because they're so bad, JJ. But they hired a young guy that can recruit his tail off. He's going to do big things on the recruiting trail, and then a guy that's a defensive-minded coach that's going to flip the defensive mentality for a team that needs it. And so I don't know how year one will look for him, but he's going to do big things in Miami.
The Boozer twins live in Miami. They were at the game last night. Everyone obviously talking about the recruiting impact that Jay Lucas has had. This is where you and I have to kind of ease people's nerves out there and remind folks that, look, Jon Scheyer's a really good recruiter himself too, right? Chris Carrawell's been in on a lot of these recruiting visits over the years as well. Duke's going to remain fine. These guys have signed letter of intent. Mackenzie Mbako did the same, so it's not impossible that, you know, they don't end up playing for Duke. I just really, really, really do not see that being the outcome at this point.
Yeah.
At this stage in the game, it feels like you've got your commitments. Whatever that NIL looks like for these guys, it feels like Duke's class is going to be safe, even if Lucas were to leave.
If I had to guess, I think the Boozer twins are safe at Duke as of recording right now. I think they have their plan at Duke, and Cooper Flagg being the AC Player of the Year, Defense Player of the Year, possibly National Player of the Year, and obviously up there National Defense Player of the Year is something Cam Boozer can look at. It's like, wow, that's really going to boost my personal vendetta, like what I want to do at Duke and my image to make brand deals after Duke. And so I think the Boozer twins are safe at Duke thanks to Cooper Flagg doing his thing. But also the one guy I would look out for, I said it in my Jay Lucas video on my YouTube, is Shelton Henderson. I think Shelton Henderson will be a guy that I would not be surprised to flip because he's from Bel Air High School. Jay Lucas went to Bel Air High School, and that was his main recruiter. Would not be shocked to see him follow Jay Lucas to Miami. But on the good side of that opens up more minutes for Isaiah Evans to pitch to Isaiah Evans to come back for a sophomore year.
And we still that. And then also we've learned that Nate Ament, a 5-star in this class, has said he's going to make his decision on April 1st at the McDonald's All-American game. You would assume that some things will have shifted around by then, and maybe that's more reasoning for Nate Ament to want to come to Duke if Shelton Henderson's not there. Again, we're getting way ahead of ourselves, but that is a good pull right there on your part. That's why I bring you on here for things like that. Shelton Henderson also played on the John Lucas III AAU circuit team. So, yeah, he's been well connected with the Lucas family for quite some time. So we will see how all of that begins to play out and that sort of thing. You know things, man.
Look, that's what I'm better on the recruiting end over here, and you give me the stats. Like, but that gave me the biggest curveball today.
Yeah, there you go. I love it. All right, man. Well, hey, let's continue these conversations. Obviously, excited for what Duke's got as March Madness nears, and really excited about the work that you've done. Congratulations are in order. You just passed 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Well deserved, well earned, my friend. I know the work that you've been putting in, but I want people who have no idea who you are today, you to tell them, how can they support you? What can they find out from you?
Yeah, I appreciate it, brother. It helps with this show. Thank you for your listeners as well. Subscribing to this channel. It's JMan _ YouTube channel. Check it out. Got all the content that you need on there and more to come. If you are a betting man like myself, March Madness previews are coming. I'm going to give you dark horses. I'm going to give you favorites. I'm going to give you all the matchups, baby, and individual players as well to look out for.
And you're known to throw out Charlotte Hornets parlays here and there. I mean, he's a ball knower, J-Man is. So
I'm a sicko.
Our friends at FanDuel love you supporting those in-game NBA parlays. So keep it coming, man.
FanDuel loves to see my user ID pop up, for sure.
Jordan, we'll do this again soon, okay?
See you, buddy.
All right, that's Jordan Mann joining us here on today's episode of Locked On Blue Devils. That brings us to a close on today's show. Once again, thank you so much for your support. Thanks for supporting J-Man over the years that he's been on this program as well. Subscribe to our YouTube channels. Check us out, Locked On Blue Devils, wherever it is that you get your podcasts. Follow us on X at @LO_Blue Devils. That'll do it for today's show. As always, go Duke. I'll talk to you tomorrow. My name is JJ Jackson. Thank you and good day.